We are live. Welcome back, everybody, to Unveiling Addiction. Today, I am honored to have on a friend of mine, actually, that I just met at the Disclosure Now conference. So I've been battling my own little battles with coming off of Suboxone. And I actually ran into Clinton at the Disclosure Now conference, and he informed me about his personal battle that he experienced. So he is a veteran, and he actually reversed his addiction and mental health issues that were actually induced by pharmaceuticals. He took matters into his own hands and did it himself. With the use of mushrooms, of course, you got to find the power within you, but mushrooms can be very helpful. And so I'm here today to introduce to you Clinton. He's come on to give us a little bit about himself and his story. How are you?
I'm doing great. What about yourself, Chelsea?
I'm great. There's a lot of interference going on today, so that's been a little bit on the distracting side, but that's okay. I'm honored to have you on today. Maybe lighten things up a little bit. It's been kind of heavy for me, so I'm excited for us to lighten it up some today.
Oh, good deal. Hopefully, it'll be entertaining and informative.
Right. So
I'll do my
absolutely.
best.
Yes. Yeah. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and yeah.
Well, my name is Clinton Diong. I am the CEO and founder of The Fruit of Knowledge and Morningstar Myco. I started these companies because I had a lot of mental, physical, and emotional issues from my time throughout the military, and then continuing on from bad choices and not sure knowing where to get a lot of help. So I turned to the last thing that I could think of doing, which was psychedelics. And up till I was 33 years old, I was anti-drug everything. At least that's what I thought. Until I realized that I was drug everything, at least the legal portions of drugs,
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals, caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, you name it.
Right.
Because I fell into the understanding of like, oh no, this is good medicine, but the medicine was making everything worse.
Mhm.
So that's why I decided to go into psychedelics. And when I started using the psychedelics, it started making everything better. But
Mhm.
at the time when I started doing this journey 10 years ago, that I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I just kind of went at it willy nilly. I did all as much research as I could, but I didn't know what to trust or where to go. And then my mind started working more efficiently, and I wasn't used to those kind of things. So I went back to the VA hospitals and the other doctors and got put on more psych meds and everything. And then it started going down from hill from there. I basically was put into medical induced bipolar schizophrenia.
Mhm.
And things were pretty bad. I was actually national news in a really bad way. Almost be killed my stepdaughter while I was trying to defend myself from someone else who was attacking me. And yeah, basically through the use of these other legal medications and not properly utilizing them as well, and also falling through the cracks with the support system, which was the VA hospital at the time. But at the time, it was also COVID. So basically, all forms of connection broke down, and I just kept getting worse. And that was a pretty bad situation that I'm
Yeah.
glad turned out for the better.
Yeah. So what pharmaceuticals did they have you? What were you prescribed?
Uh, Prozac was it the
Oh.
the SSRI? But the mix-up came is that I was originally on the name brand, and I didn't know any better. I didn't take responsibility to look into the different drugs. When they put me on it, it was the generic version, so it's under a different name. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. I'll trust you. You're the doc. So I
Right.
took it, and it
Right.
just slowly, my mental health started going down, and COVID happened, so the support system wasn't there.
Mhm.
And then I thought I was getting better, but in my mind, I was better.
Right.
Elsewhere, I was a mess, just
Right.
seeing things, but it was reality to me. Basically, kind of like hallucinating, but
From the SS, so what you believe, yeah, the SSRI. What is that? This is the second time I've heard that. I'm starting to
SSRIs
familiar
are
myself.
serotonin inhibitors,
Okay.
or it's a medication that it helps your serotonin, your natural hormone in your body, degrade less quickly. And so your body is flushed with more SSRIs and serotonin and everything like that, so that uh, it is supposed to help you stable out. It's not a bad medication once you get into it. All medications aren't bad
Mm,
for the most part, depending how if you're doing massive amounts of work to do your blood work, you have your support system, you have all this, but it also depends on the individual, how it's actually working with your mental, physical, emotional, all
mm,
your other supplements that you're using,
mhm.
your lifestyle. But I
So
respect that. Not all medicines are bad. They're just medicines.
so I see for me, just because of my own personal experience, and I've experienced, I turn my head at all of it, at any and all pharmaceuticals. But again, that's just because of what I've been through and the things I've seen. So, but
I do the same. I don't take any medications anymore. The most I get from the VA hospitals is naproxen and uh, a Totalac, where it's a weekly injection that helps with my uh, or my like rheumatoid arthritis. So I have an overactive immune system now. Uh,
yeah.
so it helps kind of lower that, but it doesn't mess with my mind or my body in any other way.
Good deal. So you were on Prozac. I was placed on. It's interesting you're bringing that up right now because I'm currently reading this book. I forget the name of the book, but I'm currently reading this book about chemical imbalances, so to speak. And listen, when I was like 16 years old, I went to the psychiatrist. I know I say it all the time, but I just think it's so important. And he was like, "So you're pretty fucked up in the head, right?" I was 16 and he put me on Zoloft, which I don't know if and I know it's an antidepressant. And what I'm learning about that drug now is that it's tied to suicide. And after being on that drug for about 6, 7 months, I did try to commit suicide. So, I'm really honored to be able to hear everybody's stories and perspectives. And, I just thought it was important for me to kind of chime in with that because you were on Prozac. You started seeing a
And
mental health.
oxys and painkillers.
So
So
so so why were you on the oxys, if you don't mind me asking?
I broke my back twice. A lot of pain when I was in the military, all that. So the first thing that they did is give me oxys, but then I never got off oxys, and it just kept increasing. So that's why I also wanted to like take back my statement that not all medicines are bad. It's how they're used and if it helps in a short period of time, but then also your body's chemistry. So now back to this is like when you're combining those different kind of drugs, SSRIs with oxys, they mess with your mind
Okay.
in different ways, especially with the different forms of combination. And then if you're not getting your blood work or being seen by a therapist or anything like that to make sure you're setting yourself up for a lot of hurt. So that's what I actually meant by it's not bad medicines. It's you have to do a lot more for it, and your provider needs to step up. Like, okay, you need therapy. You also need uh, to watch your blood. You need to watch all these other things. It's not just here, take this magic pill and you're healed.
Right. And those are a diamond in a rough, diamond in the whatever that saying is, right? I mean, let's just be honest. I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways. So okay. So I just got distracted. I apologize. So because what it is I get triggered. I get triggered and I start thinking about it and I start thinking about everybody fighting and all the things that everybody's been through and I had to kind of like bring myself back and just try to balance it all. So So let's kind of get into the healing aspect. Maybe we can. Well, where were we before? Did I interrupt you?
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm lost now too.
That's okay.
Now
We're
we're
just
talking
going
about the
with the
different
flow.
medications and how it affects us with my portion of the history, the people's story, with the different kind of drugs and how we can actually move forward.
Okay. Hey, Neil. How are ya? Good to see you here. Hi, fruit of knowledge. Okay. So you were on, I mean, so of course the VA prescribed you oxycodone, right? Is that what you said?
A long time when I got out of the Marine Corps. You're not supposed to be on oxys for the amount of time I was. Basically, I got out of the Marine Corps, and from all the different pain that I was going through, because I'm also a 100% disabled veteran.
Oh,
So,
oh, okay. Let's get into that. If you don't mind.
no, not at all.
Okay. So you experienced something pretty profound for you to be 100% whatever disabled, right? Is that what you said?
A whole lot of different things. Scar tissue, broke my back, broke my neck. Uh,
This all
sorry.
this no, you're good. This all in during when you were in war, when you were at war.
The lower back one, we're in Iraq at war. The other one was different operations.
Okay. Okay. So you got beat up pretty bad over there, and then you came back and they threw you on a bunch of oxys. Yeah.
Oxys at the time and other medication. I had major PTSD, but at the time they didn't really know what that was or traveling through. They weren't focusing on big time. This is back in 2004, and then so on. That there wasn't a lot of people understanding mental health crises or how your experiences can trigger major PTSD in a person's mind, which starts to scramble their programming, basically.
Mhm.
And then also adding in pain, depending on the severity, also adds the different levels where it changes your perspective, either for positive or negative. So you could have negative pain, like the back pain, muscle aches, joints, your hearing. It adds into your well-being of your life. So you have your mental health where you had PTSD and you're getting uh, like struggling with the different kind of experiences that you had in the past. And
Right.
then that transfers over to what you're doing now. And then you add pain on top of it, where now you're exponentially increasing the mental decline that you have because
Mhm.
now you're okay, I just need to take a drug or
Right.
everything's the worst. So then you start just not thinking that it's going to get any better
Mm.
until you start taking, okay, VA, let me do this. Do you have any drugs? Just make it stop. That's why I tell everyone pain is actually the gateway drug. Your physical pain, your emotional pain, and your spiritual pain.
Ooh,
It's not drugs itself, it's your pain.
ooh, yes, yes. Oh, you're such a warrior. You're such a warrior. I appreciate you fighting for our country over there. Thank you. You
Oh,
know,
thank you.
I appreciate you. You're making me emotional. Okay. So let's get into the healing part of all this. Okay. So you I am so proud of you because oh my God, that's a lot of stuff for you to have to experience and work through and pull yourself out from. So, no better person to come and talk to us and show us how you can pull yourself from the depths of hell when you literally got the system working against you. You know what I mean? It's like, here, let's throw you to
You
Iraq. We're gonna send you to
you have
Iraq.
a system working against you, but then there are information out there and it's everywhere else. So you don't know what to really trust or go and find what you need to help yourself. And that's the key for all of this is for you to help yourself
That's right.
and
That's
be self-sustaining. You're emotionally self-sustaining. Pain decrease so you can have physical self-sustaining.
okay. Let's let's get into your journey of healing. So, we talked a little bit about, and I actually just watched a documentary called Dosed, and they kind of go into, a person has to be ready to heal too, right? You can't just go and take a bunch of shrooms. But I do think that there is something to macro dosing, that's very interesting, because you want to get to the root of the problem. And I've heard quite a few times that, people have managed to take a certain amount of shrooms, quite a bit of mushrooms, and have an experience to where they can see why they have, the addiction in the first place. And I find that fascinating. I find that very fascinating. So, we talked a little bit about that, didn't we?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
When it comes to doing macrodosing, your macrodosing means you're going to be doing a higher amount of psychoactive material that will actually put you into a hallucinated state. More colors, you're actually feeling the psychoactive material, the psychedelic. You're feeling the psilocybin, acid, DMT, ayahuasca. And if you're going to be doing microdosing, it's subperceptual. So you're not going to feel it. And depending on how deep you want to go, you could, for say, let's talk about mushrooms. If you take anywhere from, depending on the potency of the mushrooms, you could take half a gram to a gram and you'll start to feel it. Then you take 2 grams of that exact same mushroom, you will actually be starting to see heightened colors and uh, more of an experience, and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
When depending on what your mental state is and how you know your substance,
Mhm.
that's where you would start at. You never just jump into doing macrodosing
Okay.
of a high level. You always want to start low and move up from there slowly.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into a little bit of your healing, the journey that you took to heal. Okay. Where did that start for you? I know you sent me some protocols. I mean, the most important thing for you, what is the most important thing that you would tell people out there that, that the information, that's what I'm wanting to bring today. Right.
The
So,
most
but
important thing is honestly make the decision for yourself to be sick of the pain that you're in right now, but don't just jump into the pool head first. Do your due diligence, do your research, find a support program, especially if you're trying to do it for healing.
Mhm.
Find everything you can prior to actually utilizing any kind of system, any kind of protocol or healing journey out there. Learn the pros, the cons, the legalities in your area, the potentiality of how will that psychedelic or medicine work with your other medicines or supplements, because different levels of your hormones, or if I'm taking a bunch of amino acids or increasing it with some kind of medication like SSRIs, can enhance exponentially the experience that you're going through, and not always in a positive way. If you have mental issues, if you are naturally bipolar or schizophrenic, definitely do not just take psychedelics on your own. First, go get help, like go to a therapist or one of these clinics that actually specialize in treating your condition, so that you can talk with them, get blood work, go through, and then slowly start going to see if there's any adverse effects. Because the ultimate thing is you're trying to heal. You don't want to just, okay, I'm going to think that this is a magic drug,
Right.
take it, and now you just put yourself in a worse situation. You're
Mhm.
not going to hurt yourself physically with the medication. You could hurt yourself physically with being out of your depth in perception,
Yeah.
where some those are the kind of things that you want to be cautious of.
Yeah, healing is definitely a process. It's not something that just happens overnight, right? It's so funny.
No, definitely. So if you're going to be going into the, hey, I want to try psychedelics instead of everything else I have tried. Basically, I did it all the psychedelics the wrong way.
Did you?
SR, Yeah, I
That's
didn't
how
have
we
a health
learn,
score.
right?
This was a decade, starting out a decade ago,
Oh,
when
okay.
I didn't know. So I was utilizing it with other drugs, medication, taking it willy nilly, just drinking alcohol excessively while taking it. You're not healing then. You're just escaping.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was missing what you were saying. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because when I was in just acting a fool when I was a teenager, actually, I psychedelics made me nervous. I did acid for the first time. I did a liquid acid, and I was so I don't know if they put more than they should have on my tongue or what, but like I was so woo that like I didn't trust any mushroom or anything like that again, just because that experience that I had just and I like could not get out of it either. It
I
sucked.
was the same way. I was anti psychedelic for uh, until I was 33 years old. Uh,
Oh,
Story through my parents, other different people. Oh, psychedelics are going to destroy your mind. You're going to like just, which isn't true.
yeah.
They enhance what you're experiencing. So if you're
Yeah.
experiencing the psychoactive effects of your medication, on top of that, it could increase those. If you're feeling pain, it can increase the levels of pain.
Yeah.
If you're not sure what you're going through, and for say you have trauma in your past and you have PTSD or anything like that, psychedelics forces you to confront all those. And if you didn't understand that, for say you take a hero dose of mushrooms for the
Yeah.
first time because, oh, let me just try it.
Right.
So I'm at 33 years old and I'm going to take a whole handful of mushrooms. Now, all that pain just got pushed to the forward because all the walls that you built
Yeah.
just came down. So now you're experiencing all, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't, what the hell's going on now? It's a negative thing. Instead of
Right.
slowly building into it, know what your effects are most likely going to be, having your support group with a trusted individual,
I'm
definitely the
so I'm
training.
yeah, I'm so glad you said all of that. I am so, so glad that you said all of that. That's 100% right. Yeah, because I was like 16 years old, very unhealed, like running for my life, honestly, at that point. So of course, of course, I'm going to take acid, and it's really going to screw with me.
Like without, people would say that was a bad trip. No, it was, you went too far too fast and you didn't
Right.
have the training or support.
Yeah.
That's where the bad trips actually come, which I don't believe is bad trips. I believe it's experience, the knowledge that you're supposed to do, and the support. It's not just one magic pill, one thing cure all. It's all going to be good. It's, are you ready? You're set and setting. Are you having a trip sitter? Are you going to a clinic? Have you done your due diligence to do meditation to get your body and mind ready? Are you eating healthier? Are you eating like crap? Are you drinking a bunch of alcohol?
Mm.
Are you taking other medications or drugs? What are you doing for yourself to prep
Yeah.
for this experience and heal?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I look forward to kind of having some of these experiences, now that I'm good, right? I would love to try ayahuasca. What are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on
I've never actually done ayahuasca in uh, a group setting and everything. I used to, well, at the time, a couple years ago, I used to call myself a DMT shaman. I don't even do any of that anymore. A DMT shaman. I
Yeah.
used to do extractions, and I trained and I learned all these different protocols, as well as uh, experimented on myself,
Yeah.
because I was under the belief I would have, if I'm going to help someone, I need to know what they're going to be going through the experiences. So I took massive amounts of DMT continuously
Mm.
for a couple of years and everything, like experiencing multiple breakthroughs, all this kind of things, hundreds. Uh,
So that was
in
going to
fact,
be my next question for you. I'm glad you went into that. I was going to ask you what your experiences were with DMT.
DMT, very high
Yeah.
experience.
Where is and
But
what do you I mean, so, I mean, what are your thoughts about that? Do you I mean, is it one of those things like
do
everyone
not do DMT unless you're ready.
okay. Thanks for that. Okay.
You have DMT to me is extremely special now, and most people aren't ready for it. Most people will think like, okay, it's a magic uh, pill kind of thing. I
Right.
keep saying magic pill because a lot of people's mindsets are my life's screwed up. I know it's screwed up and I don't know what to do. So let me just take this and it's going to cure everything. DMT is one of the most powerful psychedelics known to man.
Okay.
And it is 0 to 10 billion like that. So you don't want to start out that way.
Okay.
Definitely start out with the different psychedelics if you're going to go that route.
O
And let me make it clear also, psychedelics will not save you. Psychedelics will help you save yourself.
Ooh,
If you do the work for yourself, it's going to be a lot of work. So
yeah.
first study, first look for all the information, get your blood work, go to a therapist first, start letting the people know what your intentions are, what you want to look for in healing, and that you're planning on doing these different kind of psychedelics to move forward and heal yourself. Don't just keep it to yourself. There's support out there.
So, Clinton, so your healing journey, everything you're saying is resonating so deeply, my heart. So your healing journey started in 2020, you said, yeah? Around that same time?
My real healing journey, because 2020, that's where I had the complete psycho breakdown due to all the different medications and uh, other drugs I was on, cocaine,
Mhm.
those kind of things. It
So it
wasn't a good combination.
yeah, I
And
know.
then after my situation, I was put in jail for a little over 6.5 months. And I needed that time to have all that stuff come out of my system while being forced to be watched continuously.
Oh,
And it was the worst experience of my entire life, but it was
oh,
also the best experience because it helped save me.
shit. You experienced that detox in jail?
Yes,
You are such a warrior. Good Lord. Yeah.
I was graced by the universe to go through this experience,
Yeah.
and that they didn't just throw me away because they knew it wasn't me. They, I was wanting to get out of jail. The whole world's over. I just need to die. But they kept me there because they knew those were the experiences I was going through. I went to the max extreme.
Mhm.
Then no one should ever have to go through. And if you're going through an experience like that, definitely seek help immediately.
Yeah.
You're not too far gone.
Yeah.
Where I was at, basically, there was no point of no return. There should have not been a return for where I was at.
Yeah.
But the court systems, the judges, the people that were around me saw that it wasn't me, and so they gave as much help as they possibly could. And that's while I was going through there, I am actually grateful for being in jail at that time because I wouldn't have changed. The addictions that I was going through, the mental instability was just beyond explaining.
Yeah.
And it needed that time frame to actually bring everything down to some kind of base where I can actually grasp back onto. And then it was another couple of years after that that I went through training through the court systems with Veterans Court, all that. So the government did step in to try to help me. And if you don't actually accept that help and do it exactly how they want you to, you're not going to actually go through and experience healing. It's going to be a pain, it's going to be hell. But if you decide the pain that you are going through is worse than what this pain is to get to healing, then that's the direction you need to choose to realize that pain is worse. I don't ever want to experience it again.
Yeah.
This pain is good because it's going to get me up to a point where I'm actually going to be healing and I can get my life back. Life
Yeah.
is going to be so, always choose life.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I love that. That all resonates. So how did mushrooms help you, right? And which mushrooms? I mean, I know there's different mushrooms. I really would like to. I will probably never have the hold the knowledge that you do, right? There is something to mushrooms that can be so helpful. I know it's doing something to the brain. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm just kind of intuitively, I am intuitively guided, through this process of my own personal journey and my own personal healing. And I am still having withdrawal symptoms. And I do have nerve pain from having my breast implants out. And I do have nerve pain from chemotherapy. Like, it's very physical, a lot of times. And there's interference now that I'm understanding that drives me freaking nuts. But, you know, but the mushrooms, I'm telling you, I found these gummies, and they have mushrooms in it, and it's just I like, throughout the day they're kind of help me with just my energy level, because that Suboxone detox just suppresses so much energy from you, that's one of the biggest complaints of people, is just not finding that energy within them again. So let's get into the mushrooms a little bit. I mean, I know there's various kinds. I know there's like golden teacher. Penis envy to me is a little bit strong, you know. Let's talk about that, because I there's something to mushrooms and the brain and rewiring the brain, because I've been in my meditation, and the things that I've seen, like I get these experiences to where my skin is crawling. Okay. It's like I wake up, it wakes me up, and my skin is crawling. And from what I'm understanding, and I guess it's neural networks in my brain kind of closing back up or something. And I'm just kind of feeling the physical aspect of it. I don't really know. It's just intuitively understanding something. So anyways, yeah, let's get into the mushrooms. I'm going to say hi to some people in the chat. Heidi,
Okay.
thank you for being here, guys. Awesome. Yeah, I know 3 this week, right? A lot of people are wanting to come and speak their truth. I'm super honored. Hey, Neil, I'm so glad you're here. And my Gerald and Jane, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys are learning some really cool stuff we're going to learn some stuff about some mushrooms today. Okay. All right. So let me stop yapping, and let's let you take the stage and tell us a little bit about what you know about these mushrooms and how they can help us.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back first to what you were talking about with your brain, with how you were feeling.
Okay.
A lot of times that's portions of PTSD, even
Oh,
forms of PTSD that we don't know of. Your brain is programmed continuously. You're going through all your experiences of life. And then when you're going through a high traumatic situation, you're experiencing elevated emotion. Your body chemistry is also switching in, where you're getting higher levels of adrenaline or pain, which the pain is also causing different levels of your hormone to go. And you're going through the experience, where the experience is the action. So with the multiple different portions of your brain's understanding, it cements in your basically default network. That's what PTSD basically is, where your brain at the time went into a high level of neuroplasticity. It cemented the experience, like, I went through war, and now I have all this level of PTSD for all these different experiences that my brain now takes as absolute programming, which goes into your default mode continuously. So if I have a high level of OCD, where I have to make sure I'm checking the bags on the side of the road, or if I'm worried about large levels of sound or crowds, I'm always at heightened awareness, is because that's been put into my default mode,
wow.
instead of the experience mode, where I learn from it and then I can utilize it for the good or the bad, but it doesn't control me. When you're taking psychedelics, especially mushrooms, acid, DMT, those kind of things, what it's doing is it's deactivating your mind's or your brain's default mode. And it is forcing new connections in your mind, and having your brain talk to different segments that just generally don't interact at the time because of the different programmings that you're going through. Your brain's always talking to itself, but it has channels. So it knows this is what I need to do all the time. I'm going this way, I'm going to go this way. And that's what I get stuck on. And that's through our form of learning. Now, what the psilocybin is doing is it's shutting down your default mode and it's hyper activating your connections to different portions of your brain where your brain wouldn't normally do. That's where the hallucinations would start coming from. That's where the heightened sense of body mind connection,
Mhm.
elevated colors. That's where people start saying, I can see sound and taste colors, because
Mhm.
your brain is activating your connections to those different points, which
Mhm.
is helping you increase neuroplasticity, which will allow you, if you're doing a proper training or going into it with intent, to
Mhm.
actually, this PTSD right here, my brain's always remembering this, but now it's remembering this and allowing me to activate over here, then to this point, then back over here. So now instead of it being cemented in my mind as the worst thing in the world and I can't do anything else,
Yeah.
now it's uh, allowing me to reprogram myself that it was the worst thing that ever happened, but it doesn't control me. Now I can actually see that I can do this and this at the same time, meaning that I can go into the crowds. I can still know that that is going to be very rough and I'm going to pay attention. But now I'm not at a super high awareness where I have so much anxiety. I'm going to be uh, putting myself into mental anguish being in those things. So I'll be more like, okay, there could be something here, but I'm going to pay attention, but I'm going to enjoy myself again
Yeah.
instead of being in pain and always, oh, I can't enjoy myself. I got to be angry all the time because of the situation, because that's how my brain was programmed. Or if you're going through other situations, for say with yourself, you went through all the different treatments and the pain of your body with the cancer, the breast implants getting taken out, your mind, that was extremely traumatic for you.
Okay.
Now your mind is programmed to, I need to think in this way. And
Ooh.
then with the medicine that you were taking, like Suboxone, puts you into, this felt good because it was taking the edge off over here. So it cements it into your mind because you're now doing an action, changing your body chemistry, and actually lowering pain in different ways so that you can actually uh, have a better life. But then it doesn't allow you to come off of that. So
Yeah.
when you're taking the psilocybin, it's trying to get you to understand the starting point of the pain and then try to reconnect different directions for your mind to understand, like, okay, this was bad, this is good, I can do this to do this kind of area instead of being stuck in that one direction. So that's why it's also very helpful for you, because it doesn't just work on your mind, it works on your other different nerves in your body, like through your stomach all the way up.
So I
And that's where the
knew
body mind connection comes from.
That's so fascinating. So I experimented with some of your product at the. Thank you for that, by the way. But at the Disclosure Now conference, and I will tell you, I got a very heightened sense of knowing. Is that is what I, there were just just knowings, just a little bit more than I would normally experience. But I appreciated it very much, and it really did help me. It helped me a lot because I had ran out of my own mushrooms that I have been buying. Like I've been buying these little mushroom gummies over here, and they've been helping me tremendously. And I had run out, so I was so grateful to find that you were there because I would have that would have been a little bit more challenging than I'd like to experience. But hey, I've experienced a lot, so I can really kind of take on anything. Um, so yeah, so that's so interesting. I know that
I,
mushrooms.
I do I do want to touch on that real fast.
Please.
Um, right now, you have multiple different products out there. You
Okay.
have you can actually get real mushrooms, the psychoactive mushrooms, psilocybin, cubensis, or the you can go with your pre-made products, which is chocolates and gummies. But a lot of the times, there's a major difference. You're going natural to synthetic. A lot of the reason why you can these different companies are getting shut down, or you can find the magic mushroom gummies in the gas stations or something like that, is because they're using a synthetic version of psilocybin, which is not on the Schedule 1 drug list, but it also hasn't been deeply researched and is not uh, controlled by the FDA or any those, is considered more of a supplement. But it is also stated that it's not for human consumption. That's where they're getting away with the or being able to sell the synthetic version. Just make sure you're going to be taking what you want. I don't have a negative view or a positive view on the synthetic version of psilocybin or the synthetic version of acid. When done right, you can measure out perfectly how you want how much mushroom or the synthetic version that you want to take. When you're taking the uh, natural version, you can't really determine the perfect levels unless you're doing an entire batch, having the mix, doing the mix of what you're going to be doing, and then sending it into a lab and getting tested. So there's pros and cons to both different levels.
Right.
Just make sure you're taking what you're wanting to take. If
Okay.
they're saying they're magic mushroom gummies, they're technically not. They're
Right.
actually psilocybin or synthetic psilocybin gummies, unless you're doing magic mushroom extraction, where you're extracting the psilocybin from there, but then that's still considered the magic mushroom.
So in
So
Texas, it's not legal. That's so of course that's what they're gonna do, right? It's
they're
so
going to be doing the synthetic version.
okay. Well, I mean, that doesn't mean I can't find it. Fucker. Two can play that game.
Uh,
Okay, but I mean that's why you're here because I mean, so how do you go about things like that? I know you have a website. Let's talk about your product. Let's talk about where we can find you. That's where we're gonna kind of. I mean, unless there's something else that you wanted to chime in on. I'm so
there's so
fascinated.
many different things. If anyone has any other questions, I would love to answer them
Okay,
if I can. If I don't know, I'll definitely tell you I don't know.
okay, yeah, no, you're so full of knowledge. I really love this a lot.
Um, if
Go
you
ahead.
want any kind of mushroom growing substrate or additive, if you know, if you, depending if you're a beginner or a higher level, you can go to Morningstar Myco, MYCO.com, and we have a bunch of different kind of products right there. If we don't have something that you're looking for, you could text me and I could also direct you to where to go. I'm also partnered with multiple other different mycology companies, or I have very good friendships with them. I'm like, you know what? This one over here has better lab supplies, or this one has better cultures, or the ones that I also like, or you know what? This one has great customer service. They know what they're talking about. It's not about just my company. It's literally about the ecosystem that is helping the public, our customers, and everything advance and heal. So
I love
even if
it.
it's not through me, I'll point you in the right direction.
That's right, because look what you've overcome. I mean, come on. What a
Yeah,
warrior
it's
you
if I can
are.
make $1 off of it, that's great. That means I could do use that dollar to do more. But
No,
if I
we
can help someone help themselves, that's what I'm actually doing this
that's
for.
right. And then abundance comes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but so we have a question here, my friend Neil. Are truffles as strong as mushies? I don't know what a truffle is.
Truffles, when it comes to psychoactive mushrooms, it's the same kind of thing. It's going to depend on the strain and species that you're going to be purchasing, as well as how they were grown. And then also, depending on what you got, how long they sat for, how they were uh, cured or dried.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of different factors. It's not one size fits all, depending on the mushrooms.
Okay.
And especially with truffles. Truffles are technically still mushrooms. They're just mushrooms underground. It's where the nodes or the hyphae start to form underground or inside the substrate, and they start expanding instead of growing upwards and developing this beautiful mushroom that we all see every single day. It's creating more of a blob. A form of mutation is what you would see on the surface, but underneath, that's how what we would call a truffle. So the fruiting body would actually be inside the soil itself and start growing out, and that makes basically like a potato
You're
instead
wealth
of
of
growing up.
knowledge, man.
And don't quote me on that too hard. I am not a specialist in truffles, so mushrooms, yes. So, but this is from my research. That's what how the way it was explained to me, and how uh, I've come to understand it.
Okay.
So yes, truffles could be extremely strong because they're very dense.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Thank you for answering that. I love just listening to you. Geez, you hold a lot of knowledge. So my question for you is I just kind of touched a little bit on that. I live in Texas and then it's illegal here. What is that? This might be a weird question, but like what does that look like for somebody who wants to order, a product from you, but lives, where
If
that
you're going to be living in a state that has not gone legal, or you're not in an area that's decriminalized, any kind of mycology supply product is 100% legal in all the states.
Okay.
It becomes illegal when you actually get the fruiting body and you harvest them.
Okay.
It's the same reason why there's a couple states where you have all your mushrooms that are growing in your backyard, but the moment you pick them, that becomes illegal. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're getting these different products, it's for the sake of mycology. So you can go ahead and go through the study. You can get all the products. You can do whatever you want. You can have possession of the spores and the liquid cultures, the substrates and everything. Do note that when you're moving forward to actually go into a fruiting body to grow psychoactive mushrooms, that is where you take full responsibility for your own legalities. If you're going to be growing psychedelic mushrooms, just know that you're taking your own freedom or anything into your own hands. So
Yeah.
look into the laws, look into what's going on, but do also note that it's not illegal to own the mycology stuff until you actually harvest your mushrooms.
Well, Clinton, where can we find you? Thank you so much for coming on today. You are,
Oh,
I'm
anytime.
excited to have, what's that?
I would love to help more. Anyone has questions, just
Yeah. Oh,
feel
okay.
free to text me.
Oh, yeah.
We're
If
on we're
there,
on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm Those are the ones main ones I'm going to be on and everything. My website also has my email, phone number. I don't hide from there. I'm not going to tell you to do different medications or but I will help try to guide you in the right direction where you can find more information.
you post quite a bit of
Or
information on your Fruit of Knowledge Facebook page. I share some of that stuff on my Unveiling Addiction page so that people can see that this is an alternative. I mean, there's just every perspective, every different, different routes of healing. So yeah, I see you very active. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, Fruit of Knowledge Facebook page for sure.
yes, we're the Fruit of Knowledge. Uh, Go to www.thefruitofknowledge.com.
Mhm.
And hey, Cass, thanks, bud. And if you want mycology products, go to www.morningstarmyco.com. That's MYCO.
Okay.
And after this, I'll go ahead and also make a discount code for your crew. If you guys give me uh, about an hour, I can have 10% discount. And then I will also share 10% back with Chassis to help her move on her way as well.
Oh, thank you. You're the absolute best. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for coming on and talking about your journey. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for being here. I really appreciate it. So, yep. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday and we'll see you guys soon. All right.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to get better about putting the links in the description below and all that. Okay, I'm not there yet. So we'll get there soon. Okay, y'all have a great day.
You too. See you, Chastity.
Bye.